Start.
What's up, everyone? This is a video that I've already filmed, but I don't know, I've been sick as a dog. I have so much storage space on my fucking phone. We don't have the right equipment, the right time. I'm working 2 fucking jobs. She's working 1. Fucking sucks, man. You know? And we're not making money off this to pay for equipment. I'm not bitching, but I'm just saying it is what it is. This is some recent conspiracy news that I came across. Moloch, or Molech, however you pronounce the demon's name. There's a multiple different. We can get into all that jazz in general. Moloch is an ancient Israeli Canaanite fucking deity that they used to sacrifice babies. It was his alter ego is Vatican News has something you can subscribe to. That'd be kind of dope, actually, just to fucking hear all the craziness that's going on there. But Baal, sorry, I just noticed something. But Baal and Molech are ancient deities. They called for the sacrifice of children, and this ties into Bohemian Grove and all that jazz. With Alex Jones sneaking into Bohemian Grove, all that. So the Vatican, okay, you got Vatican City, and then you have Vatican Territory, which is like Rome, and the Colosseum falls under Vatican rule. Well, you have, I don't know, that's the crazy thing. I can't remember. They have so much weird little borders and stuff over there. It's hard to figure out who controls what. But the point is, there was a re-resurrected statue of Molech. And it wasn't even re-resurrected. It wasn't like an old statue that they're preserving. Because I understand that. Like, dude, even if I was preserving a statue of Baal or a statue of Molech, I would be preserving an old statue for historical purposes, for, you know, like museums and stuff. But they literally built this statue brand new. This ain't no old statue that they just re-resurrected. This is a statue they built from scratch. So, and if you actually look up what this god represented, it's not cool, dude. It's child sacrifice. And this is brand new spanking news. So I'm going to see if I can find it. Found it the other day, but it was like that black woman. Did you like the way she said it?
The Jamaican.
Yeah, I think she was Rasta.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she was just telling the news, right?
Yeah. But,
telling what it is, how it is.
We'll show this little clip, and I'm not gonna honestly go into too much detail because apparently I rant too much. So I'm just gonna let her do the talking, and you guys can look at it. And her channel is, let me minimize it again, so that way I'm giving proper YouTube credit, which most channels, they just steal stuff from other YouTubers and don't give proper YouTube credits. I try to avoid that because that's shitty. The real M, capital M, Lord and God. And this is actual news. Yes, she's going to present it, and I'm sure she's going to present it in her Christian fashion. But don't hate, just watch the news and check this weird shit that's going on at the Vatican. Trying to find audio. There it is.
I don't understand what's going on, why this could have happened. A giant statue of Molech has been placed at the entrance of the Colosseum in Rome. visit by Michael Schneider on the end of the American Dream, we know that the Colosseum is a very historic place, especially in Christianity. What went on there and how many saints found their demise there. Tourists that visit the Colosseum in Rome these days are getting a shock. I have been to Rome 3 times and I have visited the Colosseum. I had a very sick feeling in the pit of my stomach, and my husband told me, look, I said, I want to leave, I can't stand being here anymore, thinking of what took place here. He says, look, that's the history of the church. That was the beginning of the church, and it was the martyrdom of the saints. Anyway, a gigantic statue of this pagan Canaanite deity known as Molech is now erected at the entrance of the Colosseum. I don't know why.
Actually made a
we could
Baal
look into
card.
him, what he was, what people did to him for, what they offered him. It was just terrible. I'm not going to go into this here. So this is the exact Colosseum where countless numbers of Christians martyred for their faith. It's one of the most important locations of historic Christianity. Now, he says here, I know this sounds almost too strange to be true, but this is actually happening. The following comes from the official press release for the exhibition. A reconstruction of the terrible deity Molech, linked to Phoenician and Carthaginian religions and featured in the 1914 film Cabiria, directed by Giovanni Pastore and written by Gabriel D'Annunzio.
Okay, Phoenician, by the way, is ancient Jew. A lot of people don't know that. You can listen to Jordan Maxwell's speeches to get more on that info. It's Phoenician, not Jew. Phoenicians predated the Jews, and that's actually the ancient version. That's like when you hear Irish or Scottish, it's actually Celtic or Gaelic. That's where they came from. Or if you hear Japanese, no offense, sorry, y'all came from China.
In Korea.
And Korea.
Will be stationed at the entrance of the Colosseum to welcome visitors to the exhibit. How can that be a welcome? Anyway, that's what they decided to do. They referred to this enormous statue as Molech, according to Wikipedia. This ancient pagan god was also known as Molech or Milcom or Malcolm.
Malcolm.
The biblical name of a Canaanite god associated with various sacrifices. I'm not going to go into this anymore.
Sorry, I will say this. Like, I've noticed that we use, like, a lot of these ancient gods and stuff to name our children. And a lot of people don't even realize that. Like, even my child's name is named Stella, which actually, if you look up the meaning, it's star. Gets into astrology. She has a pagan, like, root of the name. Malcolm is apparently a name for Moloch. And that's like a lot of, like, I work with a lot of Mexicans and stuff. They're named Jesus, and it's like, you realize you're named after Jesus, right? Like, I don't know, it's funny how many people don't even realize they have, like, pagan ancient names, and they don't even realize it.
Now, for the purpose of this article, he says I will use the name Molech because that is the name that would be most familiar to the majority of my readers. The organizers of this exhibit could have chosen to put Molech in a dark corner where nobody could really notice him, but instead they purposely decided to feature him in a place where 100% of visitors to the Colosseum would immediately be able to see him. One woman that recently visited the Colosseum told LifeSite News what she witnessed. Quote, we were so excited the day we decided to go to the Colosseum, and quote, Alexander Clark told LifeSite News via email. She and her sister Tiffany were looking forward to visiting the site of Christian martyrdom. She said, but the moment we got there, the sight that greeted us was horrifying. Standing guard over the entrance was a colossal pagan statue of Molech.
So they put it in
placed
front of
that
the
prime
Christian
spot
martyrdom
so that everybody
site.
that entered into the Colosseum had to pass it, she said.
Okay, that is pretty disrespectful on behalf of the Vatican and or Rome, whoever runs that territory. They went into the specific site of Christian martyrdom, which is historical fact. There were Christians who died in the Colosseum under the rules of like Nero and stuff, who was a Satanist. I mean, let's be honest, he sacrificed saints upside down on inverted crosses and jazz. Um, that is pretty shitty to put a statue of Molech in front of a Christian martyrdom museum. That would be like me putting a statue of Hitler in front of a Holocaust museum. And then you wonder why people get fucking pissed off.
How in the world could something like this possibly be allowed? And what makes this even more shocking is that the Colosseum is actually controlled by the Vatican. All right? Now, following comes from Breaking News Live. A source close to the matter told Breaking Israeli News that, quote, there was no way that such a thing could be done without direct permission from the highest levels of the Vatican.
I just couldn't
The
memorize it
Colosseum
all.
of Rome is owned by the Vatican. I didn't know
lot.
that, by the way. I just learned this today. And specifically, the Diocese of Rome, also called the Holy See. If anyone wants to do anything there at the Colosseum, they must get permission from the office of the Diocese of Rome.
Holy See.
This exhibition called Cathargo, the Immortal Myth. Cathargo, the Immortal Myth, that's what the exhibit is called, could not be held there at all unless permissions were granted from high levels. So somebody in the Vatican really messed up on this one. This is not just some random ancient deity. Leviticus 18:21, the people of Israel are specifically warned against sacrificing their to this monstrous idol. Thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through fire to Molech, neither shall they profane the name of the God. I am the Lord, it said. Jeremiah 32:35, we are told that this is precisely what many people of Israel ended up doing as they fell away from the Lord. That's shocking. Now, why
we're not connecting the way we...
Okay, went into that, but in general, you ain't gotta face the camera at a still commercial. You're right. But a lot of things that they fail to mention, though, that Abraham was the father of religion, as far as the three main ones, like Islam, Christianity, Judaism. He didn't so much create Christianity. Christ created Christianity, or Joshua and Joseph during his lifetime. But in a way, you don't have the Bible without the Old Testament. A lot of things that these people fail to mention is that Abraham, his father, was an idol maker. Back when they were Phoenician, not Jews and stuff, his dad, literally, that's how he made a living, was he had an idol shop, making idols, small little idols for your home. Like, so I guarantee you, Molech, Malcolm, whatever you want to call him, was an idol created by his father. So you kind of do got to mention that a little bit, just saying.
We're marrying a crazy writer. Walk away before you do something that you won't.
Hey, if anything, we're getting our trailers in. We're getting our ad, boo-boo. Look, here's our ad. What is it? Tell me a story. It's only on CBS.
Why in the world would anyone think that such practices are something worth celebrating? Why would they put this statue there? According to the Christian Apologetics and Research Ministry, the way that these babies found their demise was horrifying, of course.
Yeah, through
I'm
flame.
not going to go into that. You could read this here on your own. That's just disgusting. But anything, unlike some of those...
Okay, well, she won't go into that. I will. The way that these babies found their demise, pretty much they had, like, with the statue of Baal, they had, like, an oven. And the priest would, like, had a knife and either would slice the baby up. But it was still living because they wanted the screams. They wanted to throw it in the oven, the belly. It was like a trap door that would open up and you put the baby in and you light the baby on fire. You close it.
The belly of what?
A bull, man. You put it in a statue, a bull, Molech, man, Baal.
That doesn't look like a bull fully. That's why
It's got horns, man. It's got a bull's head.
Well, it's
and the
hard
way
to
it's
tell.
designed, that's the oven right there.
Yeah, it was just a little hard to tell, honey.
Yeah,
That's why
it's all right. But yeah, you put it into the belly of the bull, and the way that its vocals were like created through pipes and stuff, they wanted you to have the baby alive when you threw it into the flames, so that way, when the baby screamed, it was designed so that way it sounded like from the voice of the bull, like, you know, like it would make weird vocal sounds. And all it was the screaming baby burning to death. And yeah, crazy shit, man. Luciferianism.
This one is going to last a whole lot longer than just a few days. In fact, what we're being told is that the statue of Molech will remain standing there until March 29th of 2020. The statue of Molech, worshipped by the Canaanites and the Phoenicians, part of an exhibit dedicated to ancient Rome's once great rival, the city of Carthage. The large-scale exhibition titled Carthago, The Immortal Myth, runs until March 29th, 2020. That is almost 5 months from now. Interestingly, so it's going to be there all the way from Christmas, through Christmas, and up to Easter. Okay, the two major feasts of Christendom. Interestingly, Rome was just hit by a magnitude 4.4 earthquake, and it's extreme.
Okay, now she's getting into some kind of conspiracy shit, because that, honestly, those two feasts are actually pagan at root, but there's a lot of stuff that wasn't mentioned here, and I do want to say this. I was going to actually make another video, but like I said, we have been so busy, and it was actually after I first started working at KFC that I watched the newest documentary, Hail Satan, and I was going to do a video on it. Before you start watching this video and thinking, you know, there's a difference between this and the statues that they put up in Detroit and stuff. That was simply, if you actually watch the documentary Hail Satan, they literally were talking about freedom of religion. There was a different reason for it. And I've already spoke about it in previous videos of the difference between LaVeyan and Luciferian. That's a whole nother subject. So don't get all fucking praise Jesus. There's no difference. They already put up idols in Detroit. They're putting up idols at the Vatican. Dude, they could have put up idols in the Vatican before they could Detroit. In Detroit, they still got Devil's Night and they're burning couches in the street. Cops won't even go in certain parts of the town, dude. That place is fucking the armpit of America compared to the Vatican. Like, you don't think they would have put shit up in the Vatican before they did Detroit? That whole Hail Satan documentary, everyone I think should watch it, Christian or Satanist or atheist or agnostic or whatever. Because that was a political movement, not a fucking religious movement. And there's a difference between LaVeyan Satanism and fucking Luciferian Satanism. So I will speak up on that because I already know a lot of these Christian conspiracy theorists are going to put 1 and 2 together, and it ain't 1 and 2 together. 1 and 2 equals 3, you know. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Put 1 plus 1 equals 2 together, not 1 plus 2 equals 3 together, man. Like, stop connecting dots where there's not dots connecting. I mean, there's a difference between LaVeyan and Luciferian. This has nothing to do with the Satanist. Molech was a totally different worship. He is actually a lesser demon, but honestly, the only texts that say that are Vatican Christian, Vatican Catholic text. But the same Christians will say, well, he's a lesser demon according to this book. Well, that book was created by the Vatican. And like 2 videos in your little conspiracy library, you were telling that the Vatican was saying that you were saying that the Vatican was Satan. So make up your fucking minds. I'm just saying I think it's weird in general. And I'm not even a Christian. I'm a LaVeyan Satanist philosophically, but I'm just saying it's weird that we're putting up a child sacrifice idol, not a And it's not an actual original idol either. Like, they recreated it and built it brand spanking new. Fresh out the womb. A brand spanking new child sacrifice altar idol in front of an apologetic Christian monument, like museum, about how pretty much when you go through those doors, you're hearing about all the bad shit that the Christians went through. And they did go through some bad shit. They were eaten by lions. Where do you think the story of Daniel and the lion's den came from? They were going through some persecution too. Christians, along with Jews, along with atheists, along with gypsies, along with everybody went through persecution. Not one single group of people did not go through persecution within slavery, torture, religious fucking condemnation, in some form of way or another. We all went through persecution in some way. So, that's it. Happy Thanksgiving again.